deserved. 026. He embraced death alone in the New Yorker hotel. 029. However, there was one invention that may have even caused his demise. 034. Nikola Tesla, Secrets of a Genius and the Lost Inventions. 000. The famous inventor Nikola Tesla was found dead in the New Yorker hotel. 003. He was 86 years old at the time of his death. 004. Initial reports suggested that Tesla died of a heart attack. 008. However, there are some doubts about the cause of Tesla's death. 011. Did Mr. Tesla die naturally or was he killed? 013. Welcome back to our midday news segment. 015. Nikola Tesla was one of the greatest inventors the world has ever witnessed. 020. He made countless inventions that seemed to propel the world into the future. 024. Yet he never truly received the recognition This invention referred to by the media as the death ray. 038. Could Tesla have invented the world's first mass destruction weapon? 042. Was he trying to sell it to the Nazis? 045. If he was killed, could one of these reasons have been the motive? 103. In this video series, we will explore Nikola Tesla's incredible inventions. 108. We will examine the authenticity of this famous photo, 110, and question whether Tesla actually created a device called the death ray. 114. Then we'll dive into theories about his death. 116. And of course, his feud with Thomas Edison. 121. In 1856, in a small village in what is now Croatia, 124, we will see how Tesla first understood the power of lightning. 222. Electricity and its possibilities fascinated Tesla. 225. He began reading everything about electricity and conducting research. 230, which would eventually lead him to become one of America's most celebrated innovators. 236. In 1884, at the age of 28, Nikola Tesla traveled to America from the Austrian Empire, modern-day Croatia, by ship. 244. He came to America because of Thomas Edison, who had turned electricity into a source of light. 252. Tesla was greatly impressed by Edison's work. 255. Despite the industrial boom, humanity was still using gas lamps and candles. 301. Edison had improved the light bulb based on Alessandro Volta's findings and had been selling it for $2.50 each for just 4 years. 309. He was selling bulbs, yes, but he didn't have a system to deliver electricity to the masses. 314. Edison believed that electricity could reach every home through wires using direct current DC. 320. This required building a power station every 2 streets and transmitting electricity through these stations. 326. This system was expensive and unreliable, as DC generators were delicate and prone to failure. 336. Nevertheless, a few years later, they began implementing it in certain areas. 339. Around the same time, George Westinghouse, who had become wealthy from air brakes for trains, wanted to use an alternating current, AC system, to transmit electricity over longer distances and surpass Edison. 354. Nikola Tesla arrived at this point, joining Edison. 358. Tesla had sent a letter outlining his ideas, and Edison hired him to work at his company. 405. They began working together. 407. A few weeks later, Edison promised Tesla $50,000 if he could fix faulty generators and make them more efficient. 417. Tesla, with his brilliance, accomplished the task quickly and asked for the promised payment, only to be met with this response. 424. You won't get the $50,000, it was a joke. 433. This incident greatly upset Tesla. 436. Meanwhile, Westinghouse's company managed to transmit electricity 2 kilometers away using alternating current, lighting bulbs along the way. 449. It was considered a miracle at the time. 451. However, Westinghouse's system wasn't sustainable as they didn't have a proper infrastructure. 457. They needed motors compatible with alternating current. 501. Tesla advised Edison to abandon direct current. 505. But Edison had invested his entire fortune and refused to start from scratch. 512. Tesla realized he could not convince Edison and eventually left his company. 519. Which system was better? 521. Direct current or alternating current? 524. Edison's direct current flowed in one direction at a set voltage and couldn't travel more than 2 kilometers. 532. To light a small town, you'd need countless buried wires and a generator every 2 streets. 539. But DC was much safer for humans. 544. Tesla's alternative, AC, could change direction and voltage. 550. While DC could only travel 1 to 2 kilometers, AC could light an entire city from far away. 556. The problem was that AC could be deadly to humans. 604. Thus began the current wars of the 19th century. 611. After leaving Edison, Tesla founded Tesla Electric and Manufacturing in 1886, obtaining patents for his early inventions. 620. Investors wanted to see Tesla's creations. 623. Tesla shared patents for his new alternating current motors and transformers. 630. 1651. First, a photo of Tesla alone, then another showing the sparks separately, later combined. 1656. After the experiment, Tesla steps outside and takes in his hand this system with 3 lights. 1702. Placing it up to 100 steps away from the Tesla coil. 1705. What he wanted to demonstrate in the photo was that the lights could glow without being connected to any power source. 1711. Wireless energy was real. 1714. And it was incredible. 1716. What was even more astonishing were the effects of the experiment on the people in the city. 1721. After the experiment, pedestrians saw sparks jumping between their feet in the ground. 1726. Light bulbs 30 meters from the laboratory glowed even when turned off. 1731. Some people even saw sparks between horses' hooves in the ground. 1735. Tesla soon discovered that the Earth had certain electrical vibrations. 1739. He concluded that these were caused by lightning striking the ground. 1744. Tesla believed that when lightning hits the ground, it creates powerful waves moving from one side of the Earth to the other. 1751. Assuming that lightning strikes constantly somewhere on Earth. 1755. This demonstrated that the Earth could act as a conductor with virtually unlimited energy. 1802. In other words, free energy that could be distributed anywhere on Earth without wires. 1807. After this experiment, some saw Tesla as a genius, others as a magician. 1814. But most people were afraid of him. 1816. We don't have exact data showing Tesla's work area, but these images belong to his Colorado Springs laboratory. 1824. When combined, we can now see the laboratory from a wide perspective. 1829. Here is Nikola Tesla's mysterious Colorado Springs laboratory. 1834. The 3D animation you see also depicts the same place. 1838. Inside, you can see the system in the middle of the room, where he experimented with wireless transmission of electricity in 3D. 1848. He even had a small room for resting. 1853. Tesla could only stay here for 1 year. 1855. In 1901, he was sued over unpaid bills. 1859. That same year, he was evicted. 1901. By 1904, as he couldn't pay, the laboratory was demolished and all parts sold. 1908. Tesla wanted to pursue his dream of distributing free energy. 1912. To continue, he needed a large laboratory and financial backing. 1918. He was ready to do anything for it. 1920. Even sell his patents. 1923. For this reason, he met with J.P. Morgan, one of the richest men of the era. 1928. Tesla knew Morgan would be interested because he said he could build a high-voltage wireless telegraph. 1933. In other words, a radio transmission system. 1936. and he could make a lot of money from it. 1939. However, Tesla did not tell him that the system could provide free energy to the entire world. 1944. He kept that a secret. 1947. Tesla received the financial support from Morgan and moved to Long Island. 1951. There he began building and working on a gigantic 56-meter tower. 1956. By 1905, the tower was completed. 1959. And this massive mushroom-like structure was named 2002 Wardenclyffe. 2004. Tesla planned to build hundreds of such towers around the world. 2008. Providing energy to everyone at little to no cost. 2012. Nikola Tesla continued his work there until 1908, 2017. But then strange things started happening. 2019. Rumors began to spread. 2021. Tesla's new machine was claimed to be like captured lightning. 2024. A lightning bolt that could destroy armies. 2026. Rumors emerged that Tesla had created a death ray. 2030. They claimed that the electrical beams emitted from these towers could be directed to destroy armies. 2035. And that this was Tesla's intention. 2040. J.P. Morgan didn't believe Tesla. 2042. And feared that wireless energy would bankrupt his company. 2046. He then cut off financial support. 2048. Tesla could not continue. 2050. And the Wardenclyffe Tower was demolished. 2053. It is said that Tesla suffered nervous breakdowns after these events. 2057. According to theory, the project was canceled due to pressure from powerful entities. 2101. Free energy for billions of people meant financial loss. 2106. And they did not want it. 2108. The invention was deliberately called a death ray. 2111. Its purpose was to discredit him. 2113. A newspaper even wrote, 2115. Nikola Tesla, the electrical wizard, possesses a device that could kill 30,000 people at once. 2121. Tesla never completed his dream of wireless energy transmission. 2126. Some countries were highly impressed by this invention. 2129. And wanted him to turn it into a real weapon. 2133. The so-called death ray. 2134. It is said that Russia and the Nazis were involved. 2138. After Tesla's death, an FBI document shows, 2143, that Russian sympathizers wanted to acquire weapons for military use, and the weapons were secured. 2149. Tesla's name also appears in the Efakam Chominigin.
2452. This is similar to the situation where the cure for cancer has long been discovered. 2456. But the lie that a cure does not exist is told because cancer drugs generate billions of dollars. 2503. At the time, J.P. Morgan reportedly said, 2506. Do you realize what will happen if he achieves everything he is capable of? 2511. There will be a single energy source. 2514. Just one. 2516. Everyone, literally anyone, could stick an antenna in their yard. 2521. And draw whatever they wanted. 2524. And apart from our antenna, we would have nothing to sell. 2528. No, I don't want to work with him. 2530. Let's send him a note conveying this. 2533. According to theory, everything began from this point. 2539. Seeing the destructive power of electromagnetic energy, Tesla planned in the 1930s to build a tower similar to the Wardenclyffe Tower. 2548. A particle beam weapon. 2550. Its name was Teleforce. 2551. The operating principle of the system was to create a beam of energy. 2555. Strong enough to hit and bring down an object in the air. 2558. Today, a team has recreated the system, 2600, and shows us how it could have worked. 2617. It is indeed an extremely destructive force. 2620. But why did Tesla conceive such an invention? 2623. By 1934, airplanes had become even more powerful. 2627. They could cross oceans and bomb cities more effectively. 2630. Nazi Germany, formed by Hitler in 1933, was growing stronger day by day. 2636. Europe feared Hitler's power and his potential actions. 2640. At this point, Nikola Tesla envisioned using this invention, called the death ray by the media, but peace ray by himself. 2646. To intercept enemy planes or bombs dropped from them. 2649. And destroy them mid-air. 2652. A modern equivalent has been built today. 2654. Lockheed Martin, with a technology called Athena, can send an infrared beam to create a small-scale but destructive effect. 2658. 27 minutes. A terrifying weapon against drones and missiles. 2704. Today's laser technology, 2710, was foreseen by Nikola Tesla 100 years ago, 2713. However, Tesla, who could never convert his genius into wealth, 2717, passed away alone and in debt on January 7, 1940, 2720, at the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan, 2723, in room 3327 on the 33rd floor, 2726. About a week after his death, a cleaning staff found him, 2733. As soon as his body was discovered, some people from the FBI arrived in his room, 2737, and seized all documents, 2739. It is claimed that Tesla, frustrated by America not valuing him enough, 2743, intended to sell the Teleforce invention to Nazi Germany, 2749. Could the documents about the death ray have fallen into German hands? 2753. In fact, Tesla had already answered all these theories years ago. 2758. My invention does not use so-called death rays. 2801. The beams are not produced in sufficient quantities. 2803. And their intensity rapidly diminishes over distance. So, 2806. They are not practically applicable. 2808. Even if all of New York City's energy were converted into beams, 2811, these so-called death rays, 2814, could not kill a person 20 miles away. 2817. According to well-known laws of physics, 2819, the beams would disperse too quickly to have any effect at greater distances. 2825. Nikola Tesla was anti-war. 2828. And had he created a death ray-like device, 2830, and delivered it to Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia, 2834, one of those countries would have already dominated the world during World War II, 2839. Whether the invention was ever completed is also doubtful, 2843. During the years it was supposedly created, Tesla was deeply in debt, 2847. Even if we assume that Tesla built this invention in the 1930s, 2851, and tried to sell it to others, 2853, 13 years passed until his death, 2857. They would have had to wait a long time to eliminate him, 29 minutes. Tesla was in his 80s when he died, 2902. There is no evidence to support any theory about his death, 2906. But one fact remains, Tesla's legacy, 2910. We build monuments and statues to speak to the future, 2914, and declare, we were here, 2916. But the true legacy is not the possessions, property, 2919, or carved stone statues we leave behind, 2922. The real legacy is our ideas, 2925. The only real legacy we leave behind, 2927. Only ideas can truly carry us forward, 2930. In my view, Tesla lived for these ideas, 2933. He was never motivated by money, 2935. Nearly all of his inventions were for humanity, 2938. To improve and facilitate our lives, 2941. Over 2,000 people attended Tesla's funeral at the St. John the Divine Cathedral, 2946. Perhaps the world we live in, 2947, was the first realization of the dream he imagined, 2950. A genius whose value was never truly recognized, 2953. Nikola Tesla,